Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. You're listening to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or on the Scott Nason YouTube channel. We may have also been directed here through our Facebook page at The Game Sports Show or through our Instagram page at The Game Sports Show SSM. It is December the 13th, 2018, and we're here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's myself and Justin Hykel tonight. Dan Hanshaw will not be coming by tonight. He was approved a last-minute vacation day and using up his last vacation day. So it will be myself and Justin. Going forward, I'll bring Justin in just a few moments. Just going to get through the usual introduction portion of the show. We have an action-packed show, as always, here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. We're going to be talking about hockey from the local scene and through the professional scene. We also have John Parco coming by here tonight at Northern Superior Brewing Company, as he is unable to come by this Sunday, as we have a show at Icebreakers this Sunday. So we're going to have him on this show to promote the Sioux Thunderbirds this weekend and talk about previous games with the Sioux Thunderbirds. John will be going to Italy on Sunday. Lucky him. That's one of my dream destinations. So definitely very envious of that. That is why I wanted to plug that little piece of information, how much I envy that, and I'll be bringing that up in the interview. Just a little spoiler alert. Our board operator tonight is Scott Nason. And as I mentioned, we're live at Northern Superior Brewing Company. And the agenda of tonight's show, we're going to be talking about local hockey here first in terms of just the schedule. I'm not going to get into too much detail because we're going to get into more detail this weekend with the full weekend wrap-up with myself and Brad Cochimilio live from Icebreakers at 7 o'clock on Sunday. But we're going to be talking local in terms of schedules with the Sioux Thunderbirds, the Sioux Eagles, the Lake Superior State University Lakers, the Sioux Greyhounds, and the Sioux College Cougars as well, giving them a little bit of an update on their schedule going to their weekend's action. And in terms of the National Hockey League, we're going to be talking about lots of little tidbit news with the National Hockey League and some Toronto Maple Leafs news. And we also have some MLB news as well. A lot of trades going on in the MLB, free agency watch, and also the Blue Jays making a little bit of noise as well, releasing Troy Tulowitzki just the other day as well. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in my little friend here, who is not so little, who has been with me since the start of the show. Great mustache, great beard, great hat all the time, great hoodie that he wears all the time. The one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Justin Hykel. Hyke, how you doing, sir?
Not bad. I wonder why I get the wardrobe rundown every time.
I do. You Brad gets the glasses and the smile. You get the wardrobe.
It's a little peculiar, but I mean, I'll roll with it.
It's different.
I got a haircut. You didn't mention it.
I did. I apologize.
It's upsetting.
I'm actually trying to grow my hair out. I'm trying to grow it out and then slick it back different and be all sorts of weird.
It's your 2019 look, I guess.
It's a 2019. I've had the same kind of look for the last couple of years.
Okay, well, we'll see.
You know what? I might even bring up a random comment to you later today. I like bringing up some random tidbits. Jamie Antonello said I potentially should, but we'll go back to that in just a few moments here. You can listen to previous editions of the Game Sports Show on the Podbean page, the website, or the YouTube channel. We had our show at Sports Center Bar and Grill yesterday, myself and Jamie Antonello, action-packed show there, talking about the NBA, talking about college basketball, talking about college football, and ultimately continuing our In the Pocket segment with the NFL updates from last week and this current week. Big games. Hykel being a Colt fan, I'm sure he's loving that right now. A Steeler fan, I'm a little bit worried. So some big games going into this weekend, some exciting football games. So you can listen to that show just below this link here, and also through our website or the Scott Nason YouTube channel. And obviously being here tonight at Northern Superior Brewing Company, just to give listeners a reminder that obviously being here, and as I mentioned, being at Icebreakers at 7 o'clock on Sunday, this will be the last show at Northern Superior Brewing Company tonight until January the 3rd, 2018. Then with Icebreakers, we will have our last show on Sunday in the 2018 calendar year, and we'll not have a show until January the 6th. of 2019. We might have some bonus uploads with Craig Hartsburg that are going to be powered by both Northern Superior Brewing Company and Icebreakers, leading up into the World Juniors, and some other tidbit news, and also with the Hounds being back in action on the 28th before the show's back on with the hockey portion. But in terms of being live on location at Northern Superior and Icebreakers, we'll be taking a couple weeks holidays for Christmas. We do not have holidays, though, for the Sports Center show, as at the Sports Center show will be going on the 19th and the 27th. The 19th at the regular time, the 27th being at 12 noon. Myself and Jamie and hopefully the other boys, Matt Primo, perhaps Justin, Dustin, and Dane, may be on location for that as the NFL playoffs nears there, and that will be a big week in the National Football League. So the upcoming agenda, if there's any issues in terms of clarity on the Canadian side here that you would like a little recap, you can just rewind what I said or reach out to myself, Justin, or any one of my panel members, or just ask us on Facebook or on the link below, or even email us at the Game Sports Show SSM to get clarity. Again, this will be our last show of 2018 at Northern Superior until January the 3rd, and then Icebreakers this Sunday at 7 will be our last show of 2018 until January the 6th. But as I said, keep an eye on the Craig Hartsburg uploads or any bonus uploads with the World Junior content or additional Hound content. We will have a show, Sports Center Bar and Grill will be following the same schedule in terms of being at the weekly basis, except on the 27th of December being at noon at Sports Center Bar and Grill. With the American side, with the Wicked Sister, we will not have a show. Actually, I did say yesterday we'll be back on the 7th, but it seems like we may not be back until January the 14th at the Wicked Sisters due to some basketball scheduling with Eagle 95.1. Or we might even be back on the 7th. It hasn't been released yet. I will give more information about that as time nears, potentially by the show on the 27th at Sports Center. As I said, any issues, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Justin. Very excited about tonight's show. Justin, you know, we got lots to talk about, and obviously it's great when John comes by. He's coming off work to come right here actually to talk about the Sault Thunderbirds. Christmas is nearing, my friend. Are you excited for Christmas?
It's World Junior season. That's what we got coming up. We got the hockey holiday trade freeze coming up, so there should be some chatter coming up there.
Lots of rumors going on. Lots of rumors, as typical, as we figure.
I think the World Juniors kick it off, just playing U Sports tonight, just starting to feel out the roster. They got some, I guess, a couple games against U Sports this week before they go into the preliminary tournament.
There you go, you got
that
it.
one.
Yeah, there you go.
Going into next week, and then obviously the week after gets for real.
Oh, you know what? The World Juniors, the Hounds expecting to have obviously Barrett Hayton there and Morgan Frost will be to crack the lineup there as well. So you got a couple Hounds players that are going to be out of the lineup for a little bit there. However, good for them to do that. Great, you know, I heard Barrett Hayton being a part of the Arizona Coyotes. You have Frost with Philadelphia, who has been questioned in terms of his toughness with Philly, which is why he's been sent back apparently this year, but also still young and has time to develop. And obviously with a great organization with the Super Greyhounds has an opportunity to do that. It'd be very interesting to see how the Greyhounds fare without Barrett in the lineup and potentially Morgan Frost.
Isn't Peralta in the goaltending competition there too?
He is. They say the other two guys are locked up.
Leaf prospect there, Ian Scott's pretty rock solid. And then isn't it DiPietro? Is it the other one?
Is it DiPietro? Yeah, we'll have to get that. We'll get that news with that. But if Villalta might even make it as an emergency, or he might make the squad. Who knows? 3rd round pick of the Los Angeles Kings.
It's good experience for all of them, regardless.
And we have to be proud of that, spending players from the Sault Greyhounds to go there, right? That's why you have to look at it from a positive perspective. That, you know, we're sending players to promote our city and also be a part of that as well.
We have to look in and see if we got any of the international players playing on any other teams too.
Yeah, we'll definitely branch that, and Craig Hartsburg will have a lot of that analysis as we do some uploads throughout the holidays. It seems like the show will never take holidays, but at least we get some live on location relaxation, is what I like to call it. And also I want to say thanks to Northern Superior Brewing Company and to Blake Winter for the hospitality as always here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. And getting into kind of the local scene here of hockey, and then go through the schedule here before we go to break. And when we come back from break, that's when we're going to jump into our interview with John Parco. And then after that, Justin and I will be jumping into the NHL news and MLB news before we conclude tonight's show. So without further ado, I'm going to go through the schedule for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and a little bit of recap. This past week, the Hounds Wednesday the 5th defeated Flint 7-2, as we discussed last week. When they played on Friday and Sunday, they got the win Friday against Guelph 4-3, and unfortunately got the loss 4-2 against Barrie this past Sunday. This weekend they are on the road. Friday they play against the Mississauga Steelheads. Then they also visit Hamilton on Saturday. The game against Mississauga will be at 7 o'clock on Friday. Saturday 3:30 against the Hamilton Bulldogs. And then the Hounds are off action until Friday the 28th, where they return back home at 7:07 against the Saginaw Spirit, and also Saturday the 29th they play 7:07 against Pelon and the Sudbury Wolves at 7:07, both at the Gardens respectively. Going over to the Sault Thunderbirds. The Sault Thunderbirds are in action tomorrow night, which is Friday, here in Sault Ste. Marie, as they play against French River at 7 o'clock. Saturday, they play at 7 o'clock here at the John Rowe Community Center, which is against Balfour. And they are off until next weekend, where they play against the Espanola Express at 7:30 on the 21st. And then the Thunderbirds are off until January the 4th there. So the Thunderbirds having 3 games left before their Christmas break. Now, with the Sioux Eagles are in action tomorrow night as well, Friday, December the 14th, as they play at the Polar Stadium to finish off till Christmas. Play at 7:30 tomorrow against the Elliott Lake Wildcats. Then they play against French River on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Then next week on the 21st, they play against the Wildcats again at the Polar. Then Rayside Balfour on the 22nd to wrap up until January. So hockey really getting into a couple, 3 games there. The Hounds having a couple games before Christmas. I guess
busy weekend.
Busy
Local
weekend.
hockey.
Local weekend for sure. Now, obviously, the Sioux College Cougars are in action as well. The Sioux College Cougars do not have their games against Davenport last weekend, as my call was attesting to, as it was canceled. But they do play this weekend, which, again, another game locally here at 8 o'clock, which is Friday the 14th tomorrow at the GFL Gardens. They play against the Saginaw Valley, and then also they play Saturday at 3 o'clock against Saginaw Valley in that as well. We'll wrap up the kind of local hockey scene with the NOJHL, the OHL, and obviously with the ACHA. Now, going to the NCAA, Lake Superior State University Lakers will be off until Sunday the 30th, as there is the U18 at 2 o'clock. However, in terms of league games, they will not play until they're in Detroit, Michigan at Little Caesars Arena against Michigan State on the 30th in the 54th Annual Great Lakes Invitational. In terms of regular season matchups, they do not play until January the 4th against Alaska Anchorage in Alaska. So that weekend, they're the 4th and the 5th, games at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. In Alaska, obviously, it'll be a little bit earlier than that. It'll be around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock for Alaska, but they will be playing on to the 4th or 5th in season games. So Lake State getting a little bit of time off in terms of the Christmas holidays. Lake State is now 9-6-1 this season. At home, they're 2-5, but Justin, on the road, they're 7-1, having a little bit of success away from home.
That's an interesting one. I mean, it's a really good home environment over there. You'd think they'd have a rocking home record, but I mean, that seems to be a trend this year. I mean, even in the NHL, a lot of teams are better away from home than they are at home. Yeah, they're just maybe it's a 2018 hockey fit. I don't know. Mental
thing, maybe a little. They think they feel a little less pressure being students when you're at home. Maybe there's fans, family, girlfriends. Sorry, I will throw that out there as well. You know, there's a lot of those little distractions that people do not think of, even though they're professionals. That does happen. You get a little bit, especially when you're a little bit younger. But these guys are not at the OHL age, are a little bit older, in their 20s as well. But in terms of Lake Superior State, which official postgame for Laker hockey is at the Wicked Sister, which we have our Monday show. So definitely close partnership here with the Game Sports Show and LSSU, as we are with all the local teams in Submission, so Ontario. That is the entire local schedule roundup. Any confusion, you can visit any one of their websites. They will give you the information, or reach out to Sioux Greyhounds representatives, Sioux Eagles representative, Sioux College Cougars representatives, Lake Superior State University representatives, or obviously Sioux Thunderbirds. Trevor Zachary is a part of Northern Superior Brewing Company as well. He is definitely friendly and reliable as well. Now, Justin and I are going to take our first break. sip of some nice Northern Superior Brewing products. When we come back, John Parco will join us here live on location here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. It'll be myself and John. I'm going to let Justin take a little bit of a break. Then after that, following the interview with the coach, it'll be myself and Justin getting into some NHL and MLB news. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company in Sault Ste. Marie, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. And I'm bringing in special guests, and no stranger to the show, obviously. Friend of mine, John Parco. Johnny, how you doing, sir?
Very good, thank you.
We're here at Northern Superior Brewing Company enjoying some delicious beer, nice cold beer. I got ready to talk some Sault Thunderbirds hockey. How are things going?
They're going well, thank you. Yeah, even though it's kind of funny how things work. We were really healthy up until a week or so ago, and all of a sudden now we have 4 suspensions and 4 injuries.
Yeah.
So that's just that's life in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League, and that's and that's not necessarily true. That's life in hockey in general sometimes, right? So
injuries happen to athletes.
Injuries happen, and suspensions happen, and things happen on the ice that sometimes you can't really control.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for whenever there's situations like this, kids or players that don't usually get a chance to play in different situations get more opportunities. So it's good for them.
It is, and the Sault Thunderbirds are previously in action this past week. 1-1-1 weekend. 1-1-1. Make sure I say that right. Don't say too many ones. 3-2 loss to Sault Michigan in Sault Michigan. Very tough atmosphere to play in. Fuller Stadium. We've talked about that before, and also you guys played on Saturday to complete the home and home against Sault Michigan. You guys won that game 5-2, and then you played Sunday in Race, losing 1-0 in a shootout. Definitely a nail biter, getting down to the final kind of portion of the game. Talk about last weekend. 1-1-1. Obviously, you'd like to be 3-0 or 2-1 or 2-0-1, but you know what? Not everything goes like that, especially when you have injuries and suspensions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very happy with the past weekend. Yeah. Maybe I don't know if I've been that happy for a win or for performances Saturday night and Sunday than I have all year. We were really, really short.
Yeah.
Noah Bowman gets hit from behind. He's out. Still hasn't skated. We get players injured. Gage Stephanie gets hit to the head. No call on the play. He's out. He just started skating. So we had 5 top players out on Saturday night and Sunday, and we brought up a couple APs to play for us in Rayside on Sunday.
You had experience. That's good.
Yeah, with some experience, and we showed up with 7 forwards, 7 regular forwards, and 5D, and we held them to a 0-0 game. So I was ecstatic for the guys, just the effort they put in, doing all the little things, blocking shots and working hard, and I was happy.
Good teams find ways to win. Right? We always say that our Thunderbirds obviously having a good deep team, and you must be excited for Christmas break to come around the corner, though, especially with the injuries. The suspensions, well, you can't really control them because time doesn't really get involved with that. It's just a matter of how many games you play. But injuries will get the boys healthy again. Especially.
Definitely. I think everybody looks forward to Christmas. So it's just a great time and time to spend with some family. And
yes.
And we're lucky enough now. This weekend we'll have a couple of guys back in the lineup that were injured, and maybe they're not 100%, but they'll be back in, and that's always a good help.
See, I always liked playing under 100%. I felt like I played smarter. I don't know if that makes sense. I felt like I played smarter with the puck, the puck, and I felt like I listened to the coach more. Because I don't think that was a strong trait.
That might have been a mistake.
That's what the other coaches are saying.
I always tell the kids, hey man, I'll yell at you once in a while, but you just got to take it as if you put, hey, under your breath, tell me where to go.
Yeah.
Let it go in one ear and out the other. And go out there and do what I say to them.
Yeah, exactly. See, what are you talking about? But Joey Miller, that's one guy who I'd like to hear yelling from the bench. I'd like to see him put his leg on the boards and lay into somebody. Like I can see Joey doing. Glasses might fall off there.
Yeah, we'll work on that for him. He's still a couple of weeks away. We'll teach him. He's learning. I
told him to watch for the Christmas break. To make sure he doesn't eat too much, so he still looks fit behind the bench. You got the games this weekend. Friday, you play the 14th at 7 o'clock at the John Rhodes. You play French River, and then on Saturday you play against Wraithside at 7 o'clock. And before you play the following weekend, Friday the 21st at 7:30 in Espanola. Then you're off until the 4th. Big sizable time off. Going to celebrate Christmas and New Year's. But going into this weekend, obviously being 1-1-1, you got some guys coming back in the lineup. Status quo in terms of being prepared for those games coming up this weekend. Different kind of game plan, or what are you feeling for this weekend?
Well, actually, tomorrow we haven't played French River yet, so
nice.
So it's something new, and
that's right.
Chance to play on a team that we haven't played yet. And, they've been winning some games lately, so we definitely can't take them lightly, and it's a chance to play hockey, and that's what I tell the kids today is to get excited for this weekend. It's another two big games for us. We want to keep winning. We want to get back on track. We want to have fun playing hockey. So it's an opportunity to play a game on a Friday night in front of our home fans, and time to get excited again.
Yeah, definitely play at the Rhodes, and I know you have games later this year at the Gardens, which would be very interesting to see your team play at the Gardens. I like the speed of your team, so I'm very excited to see that. But French River, based on when you prepare for teams that you haven't played, is it video? Is that big, or is it scouts you depend on for that, or what do you look at?
In all honesty, and at this level, I mean, I might watch a little bit of French River's game. I know some of the players on the team. It's just so hard in our league. I'd rather have video of a team playing against our systems. It's just teams play a different way, and I think our game is a little bit more unique than some of the other teams. So it's really hard to watch a team's power play breakout, or a team's set breakout, or a team's trap against other teams' breakouts or other teams' forechecks, and you don't really get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I will watch a little bit of their power play, a little bit of their penalty kill, to try and pick a few things up.
Because as a coach,
not a lot.
You adjust to what the team you're playing against, essentially, right? When you're at this level as players, even if you're 16, if you're 17, 26, 36, doesn't matter what level you're at. If you're playing against a team, you're not going to maybe follow the same, breakout or the same play. Like if you're playing against a team that has very active defense, that pinch, you might use the chip off the boards a lot more. Or the only thing that I feel that doesn't change a lot with teams is a power play setup or a PK system. You can watch that in the pros with the Toronto Maple Leafs with the number one unit. They always have Marner break it out or quarterback the top pairing. I know we're talking about the National Hockey League compared to the NOJHL, but you get those kind of stay the same. So I can see what you mean about watching that tape.
Yeah, sort of watch if they have something that they go to regularly, or if there's some, the way their penalty kill forecheck is usually what it is, right?
Yeah.
At this level, anyways, there's not a lot of adjustment. So I'll watch a few things, but not a lot.
No. Now, see, when you have players that are injured or suspended, obviously, do you rely on leadership a lot in that locker room to really get the guys up, or do you think sometimes it may be a benefit to have a shorter bench? I've had some situations where I've played, I've seen it, I've coached situations as that, and I feel like I've had some games where I've had better performances out of my guys with a shorter bench. So,
does it depend? 100%. There isn't a player on earth that doesn't want to play more minutes.
Get more minutes, exactly.
And I've been saying it for years. I honestly think that it's a three-line league. Everybody has 4 lines, but if you could in a developmental league, we would play, 2.5, 3 lines to get the kids out as much as possible, and even
that's
more.
What they do in the Pee Wee ranks. I know that's Pee Wee.
Well, even in the American Hockey League, up to not too long ago, your roster was 18.
Yep.
9 forwards, one extra forward or a D, and 6 D, and 2 goalies, and that's developmental. You got to play.
Yeah, play minutes and actually.
I don't know too many guys that don't like playing 20 minutes a game, or 22, or 23, or 24.
You never have a guy raise their hand and say, "Coach, you know what? I don't feel like playing more than 5 minutes today."
Yeah, you got NHL defensemen that are playing 24, 25 minutes a game every game for 84 games on average.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got some guys that are only playing 4 or 5
Trust
minutes.
me, the guys that are playing 4 or 5 minutes would love to play the 20 minutes.
I'd like to see some of the guys that are playing that low actually have those minutes, see how effective they were. I know the days where you had maybe Fraser McLaren and those type of guys, if they got 20 minutes, I don't think they would have done too much on the ice out there.
That's another story.
Cole Norris out there and those type of guys. But, in terms of this week, did you work on systems at practice again, or was it just basic flow practices? Or?
No, I definitely worked on systems. We had, we were very, very happy to have Spence Van Tiem back on our team.
Yeah, you just acquired him this week. That's correct.
Acquired him. So
we acquired him.
The last couple of games, our last couple of practices, we worked on, when we sort of went on a little review. We reviewed our D zone and our neutral zone trap and our forecheck and our trap from set breakout. So yeah, we did a little bit of a review, and I showed some video on the way we want to play. Even though Spence has been with us before, it was just more of a review for him, and a review for even the players that have been playing.
Now Matthew Barzin. I always mess up that last name. Yeah. Scott Nason always gives me trouble for that. You know what? That's kind of my trademark where I kind of butcher last names a little bit. But I will say, what's the status on him? Is he back? Is it this weekend?
He'll be back
next weekend?
Against Espanola.
Oh, it's next weekend.
Yeah,
next weekend. So he must be getting anxious to play all that kid.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. It's been a while.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a big add to have him back too. Definitely you have a very good deep team, but definitely kind of a presence in that lineup where he adds that sandpaper, that extra sandpaper, and he can put the puck in the net.
Yeah, he's a big body that drives nets and has surprisingly really good skill for a big kid.
Yeah.
So we wish the best for Matthew. We brought him in here a little bit it was a little bit of a gamble. And we really like him as a person, and we want to help him, and we want him to be the best player he can be. And we just have to sort of have him relax a little bit and play hockey, and something that maybe nobody's ever let him do before. So it's new for him, and we're going to stick with him, and we're going to help him as much as we can, and we want him in the lineup, and we want him to be a big part of the team.
Definitely has the potential to be just a great effective forward and to develop to different ranks, definitely in terms of hockey. Now, let's go to you for a second here. Dave McCaig alongside John Parco. You're going to Italy on Sunday. Obviously, you're familiar being in Italy. What's the purpose of your trip? Because I got to ask you right now, I'm pretty bleeping envious of you. It's my goal to go there because I'm actually a family there in Italy. My mom's from there. Purpose of the trip, and is that the Christmas trip?
It's just to see my family. I haven't seen my kids since September.
Oh, you're Italian? Just kidding.
Yeah. No, my wife and kids are back in Italy right now. Actually, my wife just left this past Sunday. We finally had her permanent residency interview for immigration and citizenship for permanent residence here in Canada. So in a couple months, she will actually be able to come back here legally
and there you go,
and stay here. So
nice.
yeah, she had overstayed her work visa, and it was or not work visa, sorry, her tourist visa. So we've been going through the process of getting her residency. So I'm just super excited to see my family. And
so where's your family at, like, in Italy?
We my kids were born in Italy, obviously. My son was born in Bassano, del Grappa. My daughter was born in Asiago, where we built our home. Yeah. And we have a home there, and it's just a gorgeous little town that
That's
I still consider home.
Is that northern?
Northern.
That is northern. See, my family's Salder.
Okay.
Salder. Definitely very envious of that. I gotta tell you, I was telling Justin off air before you came on that I was like, okay, I gotta get in your bag somehow and sneak there. I gotta find the time off work, so I'm gonna have work come in. But besides that, it's now. Couple of last things in terms of the Thunderbirds, before you get into the 2019. I can't believe it's already at the midway point, if not more. Of this just absolutely flying by. Players go home and see their families. When are they required to come back to camp? Is there certain day you must have a couple practice lined up before you guys are in action against Elliott Lake on the 4th of January?
Yeah, we play Elliott Lake. Is it on the 4th or the 5th? Actually,
4th.
Oh, the 4th. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So it's a Friday.
Yeah.
So everybody will be back by the 31st.
Okay.
So we'll have a practice on the 31st, and then the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd, and then we'll head to Elliott Lake on the 4th. So so they get a little bit of a break, and even though maybe people don't realize, the majority of our players are from Sault Ste. Marie.
Yes, they are. That's right.
We have 14 players from.
So they're in town. You'll have a couple that are from Minnesota, but if going up here, Tyler Malpass, I think does he go back
Tyler
to
Malpass
Minnesota?
No, he's a Sault Ste. Marie born, and
okay.
He's lived here and he stays here. And,
okay.
Yeah, he's a Sault Ste. Marie kid.
Oh,
we consider him a Sioux kid. He was born and raised here.
Yeah.
He moved away for a little bit for his family reasons.
Minnesota, I believe, is what it was, right?
Yeah, exactly. His dad was working at the time in Minnesota, but
definitely when you're in Sault Ste. Marie and you have guys playing for the Thunderbirds, they get to play for their hometown. That's so thrilling. Like you have guys like Jerry Pietrangelo who've done that, Ryan Dubé. List goes on. I could throw my name on that list, but there's a lot of guys who were with the Thunderbirds for 4 or 5 years. I like to call it the stretch years, but it's definitely the Sioux Thunderbirds going strong still. And, one thing I want to bring up here, and this is the last thing I wanted to bring up. I've been talking to a lot of the older Thunderbird players ever since our conversation in Icebreakers, and I have yet to bring this up to Trevor Silter, because we did talk about it in the summer, about a alumni game.
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic.
Wouldn't that be fantastic? Don't you think? Get a couple of the guys who have played. No contact, obviously, because we don't want the kids to hurt us, is what I would like to say. But definitely be something of interesting that we can definitely maybe try to promote or try to do. And I get some listener feedback with that and see who would win that game. That's what I'd like to see, who would win that hockey game.
You know what? I think it's a fantastic idea. I have no idea who would win the game. I'm almost hoping that my team.
Are you going to coach?
Unless
are we going to get a charity
me,
coach?
Mark DeSanto, and Toots Kovacs, and Joey Miller.
Oh, that's alumni.
Played for the Alumni.
Okay, I can do that. I think we'd have to take Joey.
That throws in a little extra force there.
I gotta throw Jerry.
Big
Joey
Toots on defense, and me and Mark and Joey as a line up front.
Oh, dirty line.
I don't think there's our top line with
Luke and
Lucas
Caden
and Bowman and McDonald can handle us.
No, who coaches? That's what I'd like to see listeners react to. Is who coaches?
Who coaches? Who would coach the
alumni team? That is something that I wonder if it's Jordan Smith.
Exactly.
I wonder if you go the Smith route.
I was thinking the exact same thing. If Smitty,
or do you go Patrick Caracado?
I know Smitty's a busy man with the Sioux Greyhounds, but he might have a night off, and maybe he could
come do it. Patrick Caracado. There's another guy, Patty Caracado. He used to be a legend with the Birds coaching staff.
Yeah.
It'd be definitely very interesting to see. And
it'd definitely be a fun night.
It would be fun. It would be for a good cause, but also be serious. Without body contact, though, because I'd probably break a shoulder. Coach, that's all we're going to really talk about tonight. I want to say thank you for coming on by. Now, I know you can't come on by on Sunday, obviously, which is a big reason why we're doing tonight. We can't do a recap on Sunday. I'll definitely text and get a couple of your comments for after the weekend games and use them on air for sure. But next year, going to the new year, we'll have a lot more time to spend together, more beverages to drink, times here at Northern and or Icebreakers. Thanks for coming on by, Coach.
Okay, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Dave McCaig, that was John Parco. We're going to say thanks to Johnny for coming on by here at the Game Sports Show. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back from that break, Justin and I are going to be talking about the National Hockey League, the Toronto Maple Leafs, some news and updates in the National Hockey League, and even some MLB updates. Yes, it's snowing outside, but we had some action in MLB that we're going to tease before we conclude tonight's show. We're going to hear from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, it's Craig Hartsburg, former NHL player and NHL coach. Welcome to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. We are live on location here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. I want to say thanks to John Parco for taking the time to come on by. It's Dave McCaig alongside and bringing him back in. Justin Hykel here. Justin, the Thunderbirds, have a couple games going into their Christmas break. It's always great to have the coach come on by and always a great interview with him, don't you think?
Oh, it's always great to have the coach here, get some insight on what's going on with the team, and just chat hockey with him. It's nice to get his perspective.
He has the experience.
Oh, man, his perspective on the game is something else.
Perspective on the game. I'll let that sink in for a second. I wonder what the game means in my reference there. Pun intended. Listen. Justin, you and I, can I bring up a weird topic today, or do you want me to holster it for another time?
I don't know. Let's see. What do you got?
It's very weird.
All right.
Okay, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about bringing it up here, but do you ever have a thing where you have a couple beers, some delicious northern products, or any kind of drink or beverage of choice, and you really have to use the bathroom, and you go to the bathroom, and you just go, this is the most magnificent thing in the entire world?
100%.
Is that weird?
No, sometimes that is fantastic.
Like, how good does it feel?
Almost as good as like the first thing in the morning after a hard night of having a few pops.
Yeah. And you get out and you do it and you think and reflect on your life. I feel like it's a time to reflect on your day. It gives you time to take a breath. It's relieving.
You ever have one of those ones though where you gotta like put your hand up against the wall because you've been there for so long and it feels like it's like 3 minutes.
You're just tired trying to do it. I got actually a funny story.
You go back to bed after and sleep for another 45.
Oh, another 40. Actually, funny story. I was in Toronto with a couple of buddies of mine, driving home on the GO bus, and I had to go extremely bad. They don't have bathrooms on that GO bus.
That makes sense.
So I had to extremely go. Okay, so when I extremely had to go, I'm yelling on the bus. I'm causing a nuisance because I've had a couple 12, 18 pops before going on that bus. Okay, and when the bus driver stopped at a stop station, I told him that I really, really had to pee. And he let me out, and I'm not going to lie, I peed in public. See, it's one of those moments, and when that was happening, Justin, probably 4 minutes I was standing there going. And it was one of the most amazing things I've ever felt.
You didn't have a water bottle?
No, nothing. They didn't let anything on there. No drinks, no nothing.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. That's
How's that story for you to top off
I'm
this
sure stranger
last
things
part?
have happened in Southern Ontario. So
I'm sure. A lot of weird things though, but it's just overall, it just feels amazing when it's happening.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, that's our random topic for today that I was itching to bring up to you.
I don't know. I was expecting something totally like strange. It was coming from Anto, a guy that just bailed on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, true. Yeah, this was brought up by Jamie Antonello.
That was a little shot there.
Actually, I brought it up, but we talked about it. Jamie shared a couple of chuckles with it over a couple of brews. And speaking of that, that's the reason why it was brought up is because I went pee before we left, and I told him how great it felt because I was holding in the entire show, which I'm not doing tonight though.
No, it's like when you leave the movies.
Yes, or when you watch the movie, you don't want to leave.
Like the last Avengers movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a chance.
No, I'm literally going to have that IV hooked up to my hole.
But like as soon as the previews at the beginning ended, it was like, oh man, I should have went during the previews and now I can't go.
I think maybe the previews could get so excited make you pee though. Because of how excited the movie's coming up. And then when the movie starts, you just got to pee because of how excited you are.
If you're having bladder control issues like that at this age, you should probably go to the doctor.
Okay, I'll definitely call my doctor. Because I actually am, for sure. But let's get back to the show. We like to have our fun here. Justin, let's jump into the Toronto Maple Leaf discussion with our NHL portion. Okay, I know you have a little bit of event to do with Zac Hyman. The Leafs tonight are in action against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Before we even get to that, they had a nice convincing win against the Carolina Hurricanes on the road. Nylander finally gets on the score sheet, which would take time. It's what happens when you do take a couple games off at the end of the day. However, it's people have been questioning the toughness of the Toronto Maple Leafs and all this BS, and then you have the rumors coming up with Alex Pietrangelo. So we're going to jump into a couple of rumors before we jump into some more NHL topics, but I want to get your take when we rewind to the Boston game with Zac Hyman being out 2 games. I know you got more of an insight and more of an opinion than I do on it.
Well, I mean, first off, now it's all of a sudden a hot topic now. People are talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't tough enough. If anyone's listened to this show since the playoffs against Boston last year, when they didn't put Matt Martin in, I've been a passionate advocate about the toughness, or as I put it, sandpaper of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, they constantly get pushed around by the Boston Bruins, and finally we get to a point where a player has enough in Zac Hyman. And, okay, maybe part of me watching the video thinks, okay, maybe you shouldn't have hit McAvoy. But if he's going to sit there and stare down his pass for 45 minutes, admiring it, maybe that's why you got Lindros brain. Maybe you're, not lacking spatial awareness on the ice because you want to admire all your passes. This is what's got your bell rung so many times, and not players headhunting out there. Like, there was at least a 1 or a 2 Mississippi in there before he got creamed.
Yeah.
From the time the puck left the stick, and you can argue that both ways in the defense of McAvoy and the defense of Hyman's suspension, or in the defense of Hyman's lack of, or what should have been lack of suspension. Just based on in the last 10 days in the league, what have we seen? The Tom Wilson hit.
No, with Ryan Reeves.
Well, not the Reeves one. The one Wilson laid before that. I forget who it was on.
We'll find out.
But that was a pretty, right after he came back from suspension, and he came out and was being an asshat again. And then Reeves laid him out. But then even later on in the Leafs game, why wasn't there a penalty on Wagner? Or not a penalty, a suspension for him for going after Morgan Riley. I mean, when we're getting to a point in the game where Ron Hainsey's dropping the gloves with people and Zac Hyman's going around and supposedly headhunting, do you not think that maybe the Toronto Maple Leafs need a little bit of grit in their roster? Like, we're at a point in the NHL where everyone We can't have fighting. We can't have enforcers. We can't have this. And the game's gone away from it. And I'm not saying that we got rid of those and it's, made the game worse. The high-scoring NHL we're seeing today is fantastic. It's some of the most entertaining hockey we've seen in a long time. But there's still a time and a place for these grit players. And I'm not talking, the
Daniel Carcillo,
well, yeah,
Matt Martin,
the Ty Domi, you know what I mean? Like those guys, it's more of a power forward. And if you want to talk, is it Anderson in Columbus?
Yeah, Josh Anderson, yeah.
Wayne Simmons in Philly.
Oh, big fan of those players. Big fan.
You need to have a guy on your roster so other players know that they can't be taking liberties. Like Cronwall on Austin Matthews. How wasn't that a penalty? And I feel like I'm a broken record kind of bitching about this with, just Toronto players, but look across the league. There's a certain build, or a mold that teams are building right now, or modeling, like the Toronto Maple Leafs, high-scoring, young wingers that happen to be a little smaller, versus the guys that have been in the league 5 or 6 years, 10 years. It's like that's just a size difference in modern players and the skilled speed forwards and puck-moving, scoring defensemen we're seeing now versus the players that were drafted 10 years ago for the NHL where you could still punch someone in the mouth and you didn't get, a witch hunt out of the league.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for those players, and I think the league kind of either needs to set a hard line on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in their, boring NHL player safety department video review. Give us some clarification with your monotone voice and what's going on in the plays. You can't not have Ryan Reeves not getting suspended on that hit on Tom Wilson as much as Tom Wilson deserved it and as much as everyone felt good about it. You can't have that hit happen and then have Zac Hyman do something like that and get 2 games get treated like he's Tom Wilson. And then Wagner come clear across the ice, blow Morgan Riley's brains out, and not get a suspension at all. Like, are there certain players, and I mean this, I might flow this into my next topic that I've got going on here, does it seem like certain players on certain teams can get away with things versus players on other teams, there's a shorter and a longer leash depending on what team you play
What
with.
happens if Connor McDavid does that?
I don't think anything, because the league can't afford to have Connor McDavid not playing. If that happens and the Edmonton Oilers are on a road trip in the States somewhere, playing in Florida and Tampa Bay, or on a trip going through Arizona, where those teams need to sell tickets, 100% Connor McDavid not getting suspended. If that was Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner that took a run in the corner on McAvoy, do you think there's a suspension? Honestly,
probably not. It's a little different
because there's a different. Just because it's Zac Hyman. Kadri probably would have got 2 games too. Patrick Marleau does something like that. Is he getting suspended?
Probably going to be the next player safety officer, Patrick Marleau.
You know what I mean, though. If I throw out different names and we apply it to that play, some people are suspendable, some people aren't, and that's just your own personal bias. It's not. That's something that the league probably has a problem with too. I mean, we have a problem with it. So why wouldn't people in the league office have a problem with it? They're human.
I think that at the end of the day, players get treated differently as much as people don't want to admit it. And things also happen behind closed doors in national hockey that people don't want to admit to, which is it's a business. This isn't the Goodfellas in the 1980s, okay, with paying business. I'm not saying that that's the case. But NHL players are treated differently based on being repeat offenders. But Hyman's not known as a dirty hockey player. He's not. Now, that hit, again, I get the player safety perspective of it, but at the same time, I don't really understand why some hits aren't the same as this one would have been.
I don't know. It bugs me. That's because, okay, our player gets suspended based on, McAvoy's coming back from a concussion and we got to be worried about it.
Yeah.
Well, what about Morgan Riley's not concussed brain that we'd like to worry about? Why is it, that's just because... we could go on for this for hours, but like I said,
we'll revisit.
Yeah.
We're going to revisit, but Hyman's suspension definitely Worthy or not worthy? I'd like to get a little bit of an opinion on that and what you think about players getting treated a little bit different than one another. Now, with the Leafs being in action against Tampa
Can we
tonight,
post a poll on the Facebook page about that?
we might have to post a poll.
I mean, we might be a little late in the news with it, but
Let's keep that. I'll
Yeah.
probably do that. Won't be this week, sure.
I
We'll
think
do
we
a
should get some
poll.
polls
No
going.
poll over the holiday. Get
Yeah.
some polls going. Hey, listeners, we think about a little bit of poll action. I got a little smile.
Moving on.
Moving on. Leafs are in Tampa tonight. They had a convincing win against Carolina. Tavares having a great year. Matthews is. Everyone's just looking great back there. And a couple topics I want to get with Toronto before we move on to other topics of the National Hockey League. And they had a very brutal performance against the Boston Bruins. That 6-3 loss was a loss that they shouldn't have had because they played against a team that was depleted with injuries. All right, a lot of injuries. All right, they were hurting. They were missing some guys, but Boston played hungry.
yeah, but their line wasn't hurt.
No, even Krejci's fitting in nice. They just got 6 points combined in a night. Like this Boston team for some reason is doing what they can do with what they have. They make it work, and they're a tough hockey team, and that's where Toronto, that's their kryptonite. But at the end of the day, Boston came out and was hungry that game. Now Carolina, Toronto came out and was hungrier that game.
On the first.
But not in the first period. Again, they got caught flat-footed, but the Leafs bounced back, and Anderson kept them in the hockey game. Now, they play against Tampa tonight. While we're recording, and the game will be over before this is posted, obviously, for listeners. But the Tampa Bay Lightning have Andre Vasilevsky coming back. They have their full roster, essentially. They got a very good hockey team. This is a team that Toronto will have to go through if they want to get to the promised land this year, if that is in their goals. But Tampa Bay, they can't be caught flat-footed with Tampa Bay. They can't be looking in the deer in the headlights look, okay? And Vasilevsky's coming back. He's eager to play some hockey, but he's also maybe a little rusty, missing some of the in-game action for a little while. But this Tampa Bay team succeeded with Louis Domingue in net. Okay, this is a very dangerous hockey team.
I don't downplay Domingue. Like, maybe I just have this thing for him because of that story in the hockey. I'm going to find that and post it on the Facebook page so everyone can read the story.
Okay.
And we'll have a poll of who likes Domingue and who doesn't.
See, they got Tampa tonight. They got Florida Saturday. Big week for the Leafs if they want to try to gain ground on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Good week for the Moms trip, bringing them down through Florida in December.
It is.
You knew that, eh? The Leafs got all the moms on the
Yeah,
trip
they have
right
all the
now.
moms. Austin Matthews posted a nice little heart picture today.
Not one player is going to have a bad game when their mom's out.
No, they're not.
Babcock's going to get an earful.
Bab-
Afterwards, no
from
one's
the
getting
mothers.
enough minutes.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be Austin Matthews' mom will be up there clapping her hands and having some enjoyment. The bitch, the camera will be on her a whole lot throughout this trip. They love Austin Matthews' mom.
They just showed him up there on the TV a little while ago. It looks like a pretty rowdy crowd.
Oh, there you go. Tampa Bay is going to be an exciting game tonight. And also with Florida. Don't ever underestimate Florida. That team loves playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's always invaded with Toronto fans in Florida as well. Now, the thing is, I'm going to get with the Leafs here, Justin, if we move on to our other topics here. Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel at Northern Superior Brewing Company. Let's go into this again.
Ooh, again.
Rumors.
I like this.
Rumors. All right. We know a couple things as Toronto fans being rumors unrealistic. People chirp Toronto fans saying, "Oh, we're going to be good. We're going to make the playoffs." And I have a fault for that. My good friend of mine, Josh Cherasolo, tells me, "Dave, you said Leafs would win the cup by 2012. It's 2019. They haven't won no fucking cup yet." They haven't. I get it. I was an unrealistic Leaf fan prior. I'm still a very optimistic Leaf fan now. That's what I've evolved to. This team's a very good hockey team. Josh is a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, mind you, though, so he does have some good things to say. But besides the point, I'm not talking about Josh here or Tampa. I'm talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. They, right now, do need defense, Justin. I know we say this, count him, but we don't need to get into that argument. We already have it. I just want to jump into the rumor with Alex Pietrangelo.
He doesn't fit.
Now, if it is one of Zaitsev or Gardner, then one of Janssen. Hopefully it's not, but maybe Kapanen. I don't think that would make sense if that was him, but I can maybe see a potential trade that Toronto trades Zaitsev, trades Janssen, and a first, and maybe another mid-range prospect, because we have the prospects. The picks aren't going to be that great this year. If they open up cap space, Toronto might have to let Gardner walk this year if he does not resign. If he wants more than $6 million, he will not be getting it because they can't afford that. You can, after letting Zaitsev and Gardner go, that opens up almost $8.5 million. Give 7.25 to Pietrangelo, make it bonus leveraged, almost like a Nylander contract or spread out leverage. You sign him, You got Riley on one pairing, you got Pietrangelo on the other, and at least can sign a nice depth defenseman in free agency that's under $4 million to fit the void. Pietrangelo will be a better fit than Gardner is, and Zaitsev hasn't been working out since his first year. I can see it. Do I think the trade's going to happen, though? No. But is Toronto visiting it? Absolutely, because I know Dubas wants to improve that blue line.
I mean, personally, if I'm at all entertaining this Pietrangelo trade, I'm doing it in February. Because St. Louis is in a friggin' tailspin.
You might be able to take out some other forwards from there.
They're beating shit out of each other in practice. Did you see Steve Ott smiling during that, too? That's good stuff. I like seeing that.
You love that.
But I mean, aside from that, that video this week made me happy. The St. Louis Blues with their puppy on the ice today, that made me happy. But none of their play on the ice makes me happy. They're terrible. They're awful right now. And the team just gets deflated. They play competitive hockey, and then a team puts a goal in on them, and it's over. These guys, and there's a lot of good caliber guys on that team that have come from different environments where they've had to grind it out and learn how to win again.
Bozak's on that team.
Ryan O'Reilly's been on some rough squads.
Yeah, and he's had a good year again. Another good year. He's struggling. Oh, the team's struggling. Sorry.
Gene Swartz, he's good. He's a good prospect. Not a prospect there. He's a player now. He's not a prospect anymore.
No.
It's frustrating.
But you wouldn't like to see him on the Toronto Maple Leafs. You don't see a fit for real. How don't you see a fit? That's what I'm curious. They need defense. He's focused more on the two-way style. And let's get real. Gardner's probably not resigning as much as I say he is and isn't. And
as soon as Gardner resigns, I'm going to buy you a Jake Gardner Leafs jersey, and you'll have to wear it.
That's fine.
Until the Leafs win the cup.
Now, Zaitsev, though, you got 5 years left, sorry, about $4.5 million approximately.
I just don't think Zaitsev's a sellable idea right now. Like I said, you got to wait until St. Louis gets back. Worse? Because right now, I still think there's some ray of... Because the NHL is so close right now, as far as the standings go, and these teams that are, can and can't make the playoffs, St. Louis, realistically, if they go on a run here, win a couple games, they could make the playoffs. It's not unfathomable that come February, St. Louis could be a playoff contender. But, there's also the opposite end of the spectrum where St. Louis can go into an awful tailspin, not win any games before Christmas, have the Christmas break, come out of Christmas just as bad, and then the GM's pressured to make a move because he's trying to save his job. You've already fired your coach, it didn't work. You're in a market in St. Louis where I don't know what their ticket sales are like, but it's really hard in December to go to your fan base and sell a 5-year rebuild.
Especially, they've had some successful teams there, though.
Oh, 100%, but they've also had some shit teams. St. Louis has been entertaining for the last couple of years. 6-7 years now, they've been a relatively competitive team. And they tried some things this summer. They went all out, and it didn't work. Hitchcock left. You got Mike Yeo. Got rid of Mike Yeo. Maybe you have some bigger issues there.
Obviously, with the fights on the ice.
Well, maybe with these Nuggets where
but you're saying wait on Pietrangelo. Does that not make you a little hot and horny about getting Pietrangelo?
If you're going to make that deal, Dubas is sly dog.
Yeah, he is.
That's
a Sioux boy right there, baby.
You gotta wait for your target's gotta have a moment of weakness, and you gotta jump on it then. Wait until they feel pressured to make a deal.
Do you think that? I don't think he resigns. I think that's why they move him.
Wait until you see him score. Well, he's not going to resign in St. Louis. But let everybody break down a little more. Drive the price down a little bit. Why are you going to offer up the farm? Have St. Louis come to you.
Dane, obviously, panel member of the Game Sports Show here, are usually on Thursdays, except today getting the vacation day. He wants Pietrangelo in Edmonton. I don't think that's because Edmonton needs forward.
Dane wants everything in Edmonton.
But realistically, there's no other fit, though, for Pietrangelo in the National Hockey League other than Toronto. There's potential fit if you want to go to the
I don't even
route
think his fit is that great in Toronto, though. I just think it's a name that if you look at a fantasy hockey roster, you'd love to have.
But think of it as...
I don't think he fits the style of play there. I really don't.
You put Pietrangelo on a pairing with Dermott, you got a pretty good... Then you put Riley with the new depth defenseman next year. This Leaf team will be just as...
Everyone's... Again, we want the Leafs to win the Cup this year. Everybody wants their team to win the Cup every year. But this isn't a window right now where we have to win this year. We want to have some playoff success and keep going. I mean, I want to hit the second round. If we go past the second round, awesome. Let's keep going from there.
You get past the second round this year, you're probably making a cup finals.
You got to remember, we got 2 defensive prospects that are going to be the starting defensive pair in the World Juniors for Team Sweden.
Sending. That's another rumor, but we can't give him up.
No,
we cannot give those 2 guys.
No, but you got to think that's going to be coming up, and that's coming up sooner than it isn't.
I like Timothy Lejeune. That's a great pickup.
Look how much Dermott's progressed from last season to this season. The Marlies playoff run and into this season. If the Marlies make another playoff run this year, what's to say that those 2 don't make it out of camp next year?
I think Timothy makes it. Timothy makes it next year for sure. Timothy's got to be given the chance. The guy got drafted 17th. The guy was supposed to go top 5, and he's a great pick.
Oh, and he was a steal.
Yeah, it's a steal.
I'm interested to see how their play is at the World Juniors, and maybe that's something we're going to be come springtime. Maybe that's something we're going to see. You're looking at the NHL roster, and you got that contained in a bubble. You're not kind of thinking outside. We've got...
But we have coming up we do.
But you can't log jam it. What are you going to bring Pietrangelo in and sign him to a 7-year deal, and then you're going to bring Lejeune in and put him on the fucking as the 6th D-man? How's he going to do anything down there playing 7 or 8 minutes? You know what I mean?
I think Pietrangelo would definitely be a good rental, then go from there.
I think he'd be a good rental, but if you're going to go with a rental, why don't you get a rental that, plays our system a little more? We're outscoring teams, and we only need Frederik Andersen to make 1 save.
He does 100% of the time.
That's how we play.
Yeah.
We can beat teams 7-6. We can beat teams 1-0.
Yeah.
Anderson has those games, and the team plays in front of them. If they need to, hold the lead on a 1-0 game, the team can do that. Not all the time, but they've been pretty good at it. If the team needs to score to beat a team 7-6,
we're beating them.
They can do that. The only teams they can't do it against are teams that are tough.
Boston.
There's not. I salivate over the idea, and I know it's kind of ridiculous, but of Panarin being. Why not?
You want Panarin?
Why not?
I think that'd be a fit. We've talked about that.
The guy's an animal.
Yeah, and we've talked about that numerous times. We've discussed that about Panarin potentially going to Toronto.
I didn't mean to hijack your Pietrangelo thing.
No, but I get that because I was one when if Nylander didn't come back, that Panarin would be a good deal. But bringing up Pietrangelo is very juicy, but the Leafs got to have something in the burner with a defenseman. I think not that they have to. I think they kind of want to because they know they can have a team that could win this year. They do. They really do. Are they going to? I'm not saying they're going to, but they have a team that could compete.
It'd be a luck of the draw as far as the playoff seeding goes with this current roster.
Right now. If St. Louis knows they're not re-signing Pietrangelo, why wouldn't they just give him away? Toronto can use him as a rental, as long as we don't give up the farm for him. If you're giving up Zaitsev, I can swallow giving the player up to get rid of that contract.
If we're making the Pietrangelo deal, I don't want it to happen until 5 minutes before the trade deadline.
I'll have my Pietrangelo jersey, Tavares jersey, and Matthews all hanging up at the same time.
And Jake Gardner.
Gardner, yikes. Justin, we went a little overtime with the Toronto Maple Leafs discussion, so we're going to jump right into some more National Hockey League news here. And one thing I want to jump into, Justin, if this is all right with you, I kind of can shift the agenda here. Hazing. Okay, I got to go there. I know this is something that, maybe would have been a good idea to bring up with John around, but we obviously I'm not going to get John's comments on that because of being a junior coach. Not saying that, and that doesn't happen in the junior ranks. I'm not saying that right now. I'm just saying that I like to leave coaches out of those types of conversations because
it's a rough spot.
It's a rough area. You got to make sure you say the right things, and I wouldn't want anything to really occur with that. But we can talk about it without restrictions. Daniel Carcillo had an interview with CBC, and I'm not going to jump into everything because I want to give CBC the traffic for this because just a moment. But also because he talked about hazing, how in the National Hockey League or in the junior ranks, and mostly obviously in the younger ranks, how they used to do something called the hot box is what it's called. He didn't call it the hot box, more or less. I did, because it's when you have players, rookie players, go in the back of the bus, you close the door, and they pick up change and they throw water on. There's more than 4 or 5 players in that bathroom. That's called the hot box. And Daniel Carcillo was talking not about, he didn't get in, there's more detail about hazing, mental health, there's more that he got into that's much more efficient with the story. But I want to get into more of the discussion, Justin, that in the National Hockey League or in the OHL, in NCAA, whatever it may be, it has changed from that. It's so different. I could tell you when I played in the NOJHL for a certain organization that I'm not going to throw under the bus at all here, but I was one of those rookie initiations where I was put in the hot box. And I don't know what kind of topics or any kind of things I'm disturbed by saying that. Hopefully nothing, because I don't mean anything from that. Because my whole point is that hazing in the National Hockey League is that that doesn't mean a meaningful haze. Hazing is like when you actually chirp a player to not play hockey and drive to mental health. But again, Daniel Carcillo had a very powerful interview overall, and it was only a couple percent of that was about this hazing. So all in all, you got to give the interview a check out. But do you think that things have changed in the junior ranks more so? Because obviously that isn't something you see in the National Hockey League. The only thing you see in the National Hockey League is when they make their rookies, quote unquote, pay the bill, leave a $30,000 bill or something for the boys. But is that something that is being changed, or do you think it's being closely watched now, or do you think it's still the same, Justin? I know we're not there as much. I've coached junior hockey. I didn't see it as much as when I was getting the fun of it. But
I thought there was like a big incident at the University of Ottawa or Carleton or something a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And there was a big deal about that, and then it kind of goes away, and it comes back in the news. Like, it rears its ugly head every couple of years. And I kind of, it's tough to comment on in today's junior hockey world or junior sports in general, because it's not, I don't think it's exclusive to hockey or exclusive to football or exclusive to anything. I'd be interested to know, if and this is maybe a weird way to turn this, but is it just a thing that happens on sports teams with guys? Does this happen on a girls volleyball team, or or a girls softball team in university? Do they have these issues too, or is it just a guy thing where they're trying to sort out the hierarchy on the team? You know what I mean? To see who's the toughest, most macho dude on the. Is that a thing, or?
I honestly, when I was playing for a certain organization, now Daniel Carcillo was playing for the Sarnia Sting when this happened. Okay, this isn't throwing Sarnia under the bus or anything, but obviously, that's when he said that he held Oswald accountable, who hurt him physically and emotionally during alleged bullying and hazing incidents in 2002, 2003 when he played for Sarnia. And like I said, this interview is with. He had nobody to turn to, he said, in terms of mental health.
It's a pretty tough one.
It is. And he had hazing incidents he talked about. He came out with that powerful story last year that was released online with the hockey releases there on Facebook. I can't remember the name top of my head. But, some guys would get it hurt harder than others because of more guys that are targeted if they're better hockey players, or if they're more rich, or if they're just players are jealous, or, there's a lot of things that he jumped into. But, he had players actually physically reach out to him and say sorry for some of the incidents that had happened, especially after this interview. Okay, because a lot of players know who they're probably geared to, and you grow up and mature. But I know players want to do it to their teammates as fun. They consider it as fun, but really it is not funny. Hazing, it's actually serious. It's actually not a thing that I'm a fan of in the locker room. I like when someone says, you know what, you're going to do a lap. Or you know what, yeah, you got to buy tonight's bill, Rook. If you want to go that, if you want to joke with do stuff like that. Don't have to haze the person.
But at football, we did dizzy bat and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You had to carry everyone. You go on a road trip and you have to carry the other guy's bags. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Weird shit goes on. I've been on some other teams where strange shit. There's some weird dudes out there. You know what I mean?
Weird dudes.
And when you grow up, 15 years down the road, and you read the police beat, and it's okay, that makes sense. Whatever. And I'm not trying to make a joke of this. It's everyone has experienced at least one guy on a team they've been on in their lifetime, or later on down the road that you've seen a story in the news, and it's that.
Daniel Carcillo recalls an alleged OHL beating with a sawed-off goalie stick.
You see, if my
That's
experience with this, I was on, a local, not like a Sault Steelers or anything like that, but a local team, just a bunch of guys up in Thunder Bay, We were playing teams out west. It was like a 1-year thing, my first year of college up there. And first time after the showers in the game, guy comes and pisses on your leg. Punch in the mouth. Like, really, why is that a thing? You know, like, why do people, and, you know, flash forward to this day and age, you'd think, given the dominance of the topic of mental health in the news, that there'd be less and less of this. But it just seems like it gets pushed further back down because no one wants to talk about it. It's this dark horse that just keeps rearing its ugly head.
Yeah.
And players feel bad. Like, at the time, like, you have to, like, we've both had our ups and downs in the mental health world. And you'd have to think that Carcillo at that point in time was probably on the downs.
Oh, big time. Not feeling welcome, but you know what? He used his motivation.
Well,
Kudos to him to getting to the national hockey.
We've both been there. How easy is it when you're miserable sometimes, like you're just in a shit spot, how easy is it to talk to people?
Not. But when you do feel good, but it's not.
Well, when you do feel good, but at that point in time, it's not that easy. Your brain doesn't flick that switch to say, this is a good idea to talk about this.
Yeah.
And you'll stew over it for a long time. And in this case, looks like his entire NHL career.
Yeah,
he sat on that, and you know what? Some of the stuff Carcillo has come out with in the Players Tribune and in interviews.
That's what it was. That's what it's called.
In regards to mental health, I found fascinating because as the balls he had on the ice, like he's got double those coming out.
Yeah.
You know, in the media now to put this out there and almost giving a front to other players who maybe aren't so, you know, don't have that tough image. And I'm not trying to, you know, say Carcillo's gonna punch everyone out who make questions anyone's mental health. I'm not saying that at all, but he's giving players a voice and showing that, you know, no matter where you've been or what's happened, it's happening. You have to talk about it.
One thing that was, just to conclude the topic, as we get into it more, I'd love to try to reach out to Carcillo and get an addition with Daniel on here. That'd be absolutely amazing to talk about the system mental health relations, even in and outside the sport. But one quote that got me. One of the most vivid memories that stands out is one of my teammates being taped to a table, ass up naked, being whipped with his own belt by two veterans. He was screaming. I get it, rookie initiation, but like you said,
like, that's
carry
weird.
the bags. Carry the bags. Pay the bill. You know what? Frank call your my mother. You know, make a... No, okay, I went too far with the Frank call. Sorry, I apologize. But you know, something funny that's not harmful and that's a hilarious time where you can look back and be like, remember that time you carried my bag and you forgot my jock?
Well,
you know what I mean? Something like that.
Think about that. You got a guy like, you know, someone who played a couple 100 AHL games and going, I remember that time I made John Tavares carry my bag into the rink. You know, like that's
it's funny stuff.
You look back at that, it's like it's a good wholesome memory. You know, maybe 20 years from now it will be, because 2018's been a weird year. But, you know, right now, in this current day and age, that's a good wholesome comment as far as I'm concerned.
It is, and it's going to be something that we'll maybe dive into a little bit more as the year goes on. Hopefully I can reach out to some representatives who provided a voice to the junior and professional hockey ranks about the mental health, as I'm a big supporter of the mental health awareness, obviously. But in terms of that, Daniel Carcillo, kudos to you, man. I just want to give a little promotion to that you've discussed in terms of the mental health and the hazing, as it does need to stop in junior, in terms of the inappropriate, weird way. Let's go with that. The hot box, don't be a thing anymore. I've had that when I played hockey, and it's not funny. It's a memory that I look back to. I remember the veterans having fun with it. Nothing happened in the hot box, quote unquote, but at the end of the day, it's still something that I wish I would have done had to do a lap in my underwear. No, that's hazing. I would rather carry my veterans bags or pay a belt.
What's wrong with walking by their seat on the bus and letting one rip?
Yeah, there's something
that's
like
good stuff right there.
Yeah, something funny like that, something more appropriate for sure. But definitely give Daniel Carcillo's thing a check out. It is absolutely amazing. Now, Justin, a couple other things I want to jump into with the National Hockey League quickly before we go into some MLB talk and before I let you go and we let the show go in general. It's Kevin Shattenkirk out 2 to 4 weeks with the injury there. Clefbaum is out weeks with the Oilers. Some injuries are still climbing up in the National Hockey League. Teams, how things have changed. It seems like St. Louis at the bottom, LA at the bottom, Chicago at the bottom.
The
things are changing. The things are changing in the National Hockey League.
The standings are a living, breathing thing right now, though. I mean, last week the Sabres were the best team in the NHL, and they lost 5 games. You know, it's the NHL.
Wild card team, man. They're a wild card team. I've said that. Not even. They're gonna barely finish.
The league's fascinating this year. Like every game is competitive. It's I haven't had this much fun watching hockey in a long time.
And you have Gary Bettman actually got inducted into the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame as well. Kudos. And I know a lot of people boo Gary Bettman. I think it's for fun. When you really think about it, he's actually a very good commissioner for the National Hockey League. He knows the business end. He is a fan. But I know some people may look at him and be like, okay, why are you saying this, David? I get it. I've actually turned another side of the coin. He's done some good things for the National Hockey League. When you really think about it, he's had a good evolution here in the National Hockey League in general. Now, you know what? I will say right now, teams that are surprising me, Justin, Vegas is slow start. They're trying to pick up. The Edmonton Oilers are starting to pick up with that change of Ken Hitchcock. But depth is obviously a concern with the Edmonton Oilers. You have the Islanders, who surprisingly had a great start, but they're starting to struggle a little bit. You know, you even had the Montreal Canadiens, who had a great start. You know, they're 4-5-1 in their past 10. Things are starting to come down a little bit to reality there. It seems like with the Montreal Canadiens, but they're still having a decent season. But look at Carey Price. He's not having the best year this year either. And things are really altering the National Hockey League in terms of players. And now things are getting really sticky with in terms of contracts and everything. Just your overall thoughts about this year's season to this point. Give it a grade from F to A+ of this National Hockey League team.
Definitely. Like, as of right now, if I had to grade it today, I'm giving it an A. Not quite an A+, but it's interesting because we're kind of at a changing of the guard in the season where, you know, the teams that, I guess what we're saying now is the old model of the Chicagos, the LA Kings, and realistically the Pittsburghs, that kind of cat-fudged themselves in the friendlier terms of our radio world here.
Yeah, because we only have a couple swears.
Well, they rewarded their players that, you know, battled for them, went to war for them, and now the teams themselves are paying the price for those contracts.
Now, speaking of Kessel, that's one news that I was going to give up for you. You being a Kessel fan.
Feel the thrill.
Rumors swirling that they're shopping Phil Kessel.
I mean, anyone that can get Phil Kessel at the Leafs are retaining $2 million of his salary, which was like $7 million. You can get Phil Kessel at $5 million. Why wouldn't you?
Where does he have a fit if he goes elsewhere?
Anywhere that needs a scoring winger that plays zero defense. We need scoring. Well, I mean, I think he's only going to go to someone who's contending, but
yeah. Jokes aside,
Buffalo.
Go back to the Toronto area. I actually have a very fascinating one that might blow your mind. Winnipeg. I like the Winnipeg field. Friends with Wheeler. I just think it's a fit. Offensively, they're good defensively, puts them over the edge.
I just think Blake Wheeler is already like a Winnipeg version of Phil Kessel. Like, he's not quite the finesse. I have trouble using finesse and Phil Kessel in the same sense. But he's not quite like the scorer. Like, Blake Wheeler's got an all-around game. That very well fits the Paul Maurice style. I don't know that Phil Kessel fits into that mold out there. I really don't. Maybe Calgary?
Good fit if you want to go there.
And, you know, I retain some salary and give him Pittsburgh James Neal. You know, like, it's James Neal doesn't seem to be working in Calgary. I mean, maybe you hold James Neal to the playoffs because that's when he's money anyways. But
yeah. See, and the big thing that I'd like to say about this National Hockey League, to go to the grade to answer that overall question. First off, the Kessel rumors, yes, I think he will get moved. I think Pittsburgh can look at making some of those adjustments. And a team that definitely fits my mind is Winnipeg. Just for some reason sticks out. And the Calgary Flames, I want to give a shout out to in terms of the historic comeback that they had against the Philadelphia Flyers. But also, Philadelphia's been doing that a lot. As we sit here right now, the Leafs go up 1-0 on Tampa Bay. I have to make sure that I state that. But Calgary looking very strong this year. Justin, the last topic I'm going to jump into is the Major League Baseball before we officially sign off. Talk about a couple of pieces of news. Bryce Harper, the GM meetings are right around the corner. We're going to be diving into a lot more Major League Baseball updates as the season goes on, off-season, goes on. And when we come back from holidays, we'll have a lot of moves. We'll probably know where Harper's going to be. You know, you have Happ that seems, retained into New York. You have Edwin Encarnacion getting traded to the Seattle Mariners, or Carlos Santana going back to the Cleveland Indians, where he's had success before. You have the kind of the moves with rumors, with Manny Machado meeting with the Philadelphia Phillies, and also with Bryce Harper. You have the Toronto Blue Jays ultimately here that I want to jump into, having Troy Tulowitzki leave. Okay, now I'll say Edwin Carcillo, the Mariners, is very interesting. Get another slugger there in Seattle. Seattle has had some good sluggers with Cruz, Seager. They got some guys there that can hit bombs. I think Edwin's going to fit well there in Seattle. Definitely a good move. Carlos Santana going back to familiar territory. There's not a loss here for the Tribe at all. However, the most interesting news that I want to jump into is, and we're going to talk more news, as I mentioned, when we have time to talk about it later on after the Christmas holidays, but Troy Tulowitzki. He had an injury-riddled season. He missed all year. He missed a good portion of last year. Ever since the trade, he's played a little bit, and he's had a little bit of injuries battle him. The Blue Jays have to eat up a lot of contract for him, but at the end of the day, the Blue Jays get rid of a contract, Justin, that they can get off the books. Must be a little bit of a relief, and Blue Jay fans now can, hopefully the Jays can use that money elsewhere in terms of the cap era, but maybe even focus on getting those young guys into the lineup, as you know, Bo Bichette is coming up the ranks at shortstop.
I don't know how happy ownership in Toronto is to eat that money, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what Atkins was saying on Tim and Sid the other day is it's not going to restrict him in any of his moves going forward, so that's a positive for the franchise. I do find it interesting right now. They got 4 catchers on the roster, and he said they got 4 catchers that they want to keep going into next year, so that's interesting.
Very.
They need pitching. I mean, as far as the roster goes, though, it's a living, breathing thing right now, and it's we'll see.
They need pitching, and there's pitchers on the market that I hope Toronto jumps into, but it's starting to pick up. GM winter meetings. Very excited to see what the offseason with the MLB brings for sure, and I wish we had a bit more time to talk into more baseball news. Unfortunately, we do not. So, Justin, I'm going to let you go. I know we have somewhere to be as well. I know we got to conclude tonight's show just based on our time constraints. I want to say thank you for coming by tonight, and also Merry Christmas. We're talking throughout the holidays. We'll see you back here at Northern Superior Brewing Company January 3rd. Obviously, hope to see you throughout the holidays as well, but back here live on location on January the 3rd.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing a couple Dave's Apartment special editions for the World Juniors, and definitely see you Sunday at Icebreakers.
And hopefully you can even come on for some football preview as well. We'll have something sporadic.
100%. I mean, I've been
especially if the Colts are there.
I've been a hermit as the Colts were in a tailspin. Now they're on the up and up, and we're back out wearing the Colts hoodie again.
It's Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel going to the conclusion portion. I want to say thanks to the listeners. I want to say thanks to John Parco for coming by as well, to Northern Superior Brewing Company for making us a part of your night. I want to say thanks to Northern Careers Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Wicked Sister, Silver Creek Golf Course, Discover the Canvas, the Salon, the Superior Pro Shop, North Shore Sports and Auto, Pingatour Cleaners, also the Wicked Sister. If I did mention that twice, I guess what? They do get the extra promotion. Kembalange Hockey, and also to the Sioux Thunderbirds for their partnership, and also to the local sports teams around, and to Northern Science as well, and ultimately to Eagle 95.1. Thanks to Scott Neeson, our board operator tonight. Obviously, thanks to Justin for coming on by. And again, thank you, the listeners, for taking the time out of your night. You've been listening to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Don't hesitate to give us a follow or reach out to us with any questions. We will be back here at Northern Superior Brewing Company January the 6th. We still have another show coming up, though, this week at Icebreakers December which will be Sunday, December the 16th at 7 o'clock. So we'll get another agenda reminder for the listeners as well for that. It'll be at 7 o'clock at Icebreakers. Until our Icebreakers edition, keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.